I don't know how else to describe it except that it's like a fall candied meat explosion in your mouth.
Today, we are smoking up a turkey. This turkey tastes so good, and I want to share the recipe with y'all. To start off, we're going to brine it, and we are going to be putting a rub on it too.
In a pot on the stove, we're going to make our brine. 4 cups of water. 1.5 cups of salt. 1 cup of brown sugar. 1 tablespoon of whole peppercorns. 1 whole cinnamon stick. Ooh, just fell right in there. 4 whole cloves. And 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. Then we are also going to add in a whole bunch of fresh herbs. I have some fresh thyme from the garden, rosemary, there's a leaf on that one, more thyme from the garden, and this is about 3 stems of sage. This is going to be very aromatic and smell lovely. Give all of this a stir and kind of soak those herbs into the liquid so that they really infuse into the liquid. And we're going to turn this on and bring it to a boil. Basically, we're just wanting all of that brown sugar and salt to dissolve into the water.
The herbs boiling in this mixture here also kind of creates a tea, basically. It's infusing those leaves into the liquid so that all of this liquid is just packed full of flavor and spice, and it'll all soak into the turkey as the turkey is brining in this mixture overnight. Plus, it helps make the turkey extremely moist and juicy and tender, and it's just going to be so good.
Our brine has come to a boil, and now I've got the heat shut off, and we are going to add some ice to really cool this down quickly because we do not want to put a hot brine straight on to raw meat, otherwise it'll start to cook the meat. I'm just going to start adding some ice to really cool down this liquid. Give it a little bit of a stir. Then let's pour this into our brine pot. I'm using this big Tupperware for my brine and my turkey. I'm going to start by just pouring all of the spices and herbs into this pot. Container, I should say. Get that last clove out of there. And then to this mixture, we're going to add some cider. This is about 4 cups of homemade pear cider. Apple cider works too if you don't have pear cider. We harvested pears from my parents' pear trees, and a friend let us use their cider press, and we turned it into cider. This is the last of that. So I want to pour all that in there. Then we're going to add 4 additional cups of cold water. Next, we're gonna chop up a few things to add to this mixture as well. So I'm gonna set this to the side and get our cutting board. We're gonna chop up 1 whole apple. I like to chop it up so that there's extra surface area for all the apple juices to really penetrate into the brine. Just a rough kind of chop. Set that to the side and let's do our next thing. Then we're gonna do 1 whole orange. Same thing, dicing it up into some chunks. You don't have to be specific with this part. And we're gonna do 1 onion. I am gonna go ahead and peel the skin off of my onion. And let's put all this into our brined mixture. It smells really good. It definitely smells like fall and autumn, and it's gonna be a perfect recipe for making for Thanksgiving. Then I have an entire tub of ice. This is all the ice out of my freezer, and we're gonna put the whole thing in there. Then we just wanna give all of this a stir to make sure it's nicely mixed up. Let's set this aside and prepare our turkey. I'm using an organic turkey. This one is 11.7 pounds. We are gonna spatchcock the turkey, which basically means butterfly it open so that it lays flat and it cooks evenly, and it will cook faster too, prepared this way. I'm gonna get another tray here so that I can catch all the juices that are gonna come out of this bag. Whoops, I sliced it a little bit, opening the bag. Didn't mean to do that. Didn't think I was going that deep. I'm popping out the automatic cook timer because we are gonna be using a meat probe thermometer to check the temperature of this bird. And we're gonna go ahead and remove the giblet bag as well. All right, let me go set these to the side. I'm also going to remove the neck from inside the bird too. Then flipping the turkey over, the spine right here along the back is what we want to cut out. You can use a knife for this. I prefer to use poultry shears. It just goes a little bit quicker. All right, there we go. The spine is out. So that's what your spine looks like on the turkey. I also want to remove this plastic hanger piece. Now this part is sometimes a little bit tricky. We have to break the breastbone. Since you've cut out the spine, these little nodes where the spine was connected are pretty sharp, so be careful you don't cut yourself. It's best to flip this over this way, which I really wish I didn't slice down the middle of my breast. My turkey there. You just push down. All right. You can see it's split in half now and it lays nice and flat. Now we're going to lift this whole thing up and put it into the brine. The brine mixture doesn't completely cover the breast meat, so what I'm going to do is flip my turkey over so that the breast meat is submerged. See if I can do this without making a mess. There we go, that's better. And then I'm gonna move some of those spices and seasonings to the inside. My herbs have all kind of conglomerated into one big chunk here, so I'm just gonna distribute some of them across the mixture to hopefully help distribute the seasoning on everything. All right, there we go. Our turkey is completely submerged. We are gonna let it soak in this brine mixture until tomorrow evening. So a full 15-20 hours. The longer you let it soak in the brine, the better. But at a minimum, let it soak overnight.
Let me go wash my hands and then we'll pop the lid on this and I'll show you how we're going to make the rub that's going to go on top of this turkey next. I'm just going to put this into the fridge, clean up the counter here real quick, and then we'll do the next step. I like to clean several times throughout this process just to make sure everything's nice and sanitary.
All right, let's make our dry rub that we're gonna put on top of the turkey tomorrow before we put it into the smoker. You can just solely use the brine. It'll still turn out delicious. This just gives it an extra kick and gives you that extra flavoring on the top. First thing we need is some brown sugar. We are gonna do a whole cup of brown sugar. I'm using a light brown sugar. If you use dark brown sugar, it'll just give you an even more rich molasses flavor. This is a 1/3 cup measure, so I did 3 scoops to equal 1 full cup. To that brown sugar, we are gonna add some garlic. I have granulated garlic that I've dehydrated from my garden. And for the garlic, we are gonna do 3 whole tablespoons. 1, 2, and 3. Next up, we are going to be doing some onion powder. This is a granulated onion technically. And we are also going to do 3 tablespoons of the onion. 1, 2, and 3. Then to this mixture, we are going to add in some paprika. The paprika will give this a bit of a kick. We are going to do 2 tablespoons of the paprika. 1 and 2. And then the next thing I'm going to add is some of my homemade pepper blend. Now this is specialty just to me. This pepper blend is a bunch of dehydrated peppers of all different varieties from my garden. It has a little bit of a sweeter flavor than paprika, but it is very similar to paprika. So if you don't dehydrate your own peppers like me, just add a little extra paprika. I'm gonna do not quite a full tablespoon, probably like 3/4 of a tablespoon of that. So if you don't have this, you can substitute it with paprika or just leave it out. Next up, we're gonna do 1/2 of a tablespoon of cinnamon. It'll definitely bring in that warm, earthy autumn feel that we love. And just a little sprinkle of ginger. Not even a 1/4 teaspoon, just a tiny bit. We just want that little extra flavor to pop through. Let's whisk this all together. This will store and keep, and you can use it on other things too, like chicken and pork. It's not just for turkey. So if you don't use all of this up on your turkey, save it in an airtight container, and you can keep it to use as a seasoning blend on other meats as well. But we do want to be generous with this when we put it on tomorrow. It's the next day. Our turkey has been in this brine mixture overnight, and now we're ready to pull it out and get the dry rub all over it. All right, so we're just gonna pull the turkey out. This is a little precarious. I probably should have had a bigger container.
But we made it work. You can also use a clean 5-gallon bucket.
Now for our rub, I went ahead and poured some of it into a separate bowl so that if I don't use it all up, I'm not contaminating the rest of the bowl. And we're gonna rub the dry rub over both sides of the turkey. We want it on the underside and on the top as well. So I'm starting with the underside. Again, be careful of the sharp points from where we cut the spine off of. That will poke you pretty good if you get to it. All right, then we're gonna flip it over and put our rub all over the other side. Well, there's a peppercorn from our brine and a clove. Let's go ahead and put that back in the brine mixture. Okay, now be very generous with the rub. I think the brown sugar tastes really good. Getting underneath the wings and all the nooks and crannies too.
This turkey is really getting a good massage here with all of these spices. The spices already smell so good, and the brine liquid, it's making the whole kitchen smell like fall. It really does smell delicious.
I'm also gonna lift up the skin a little bit between the breast meat. I accidentally sliced it yesterday, but you could go from another angle if you didn't slice it like I did, and put some of the seasoning in there down between the meat and the skin. All right, there we go. Let me go wash up my hands and we'll go get this on the smoker.
And it is a beautiful day for smoking up a turkey. And our smoker that we're going to be using today is out here on the back porch. This is a Pit Boss smoker from Lowe's, and it really does the job nicely.
We're using the 850 Pit Boss Pro Series smoker, and one of the great things about the smoker is you can put a meat probe thermometer into it and it hooks up via Bluetooth, so the turkey can automatically stop cooking when it reaches its optimal internal temperature, which for us, since it's poultry, we're going for 165 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to insert the probe thermometer into the thickest part of the breast meat. So here is your digital controls for the smoker, and I'm just plugging up the meat probe thermometer into this port here, and there's an app where you can control everything on your phone.
We are using hickory pellets here in our smoker today, but I feel like applewood would also be a really great choice for this because we do have that apple and the cider in the marinade that we were letting it brine in. Any flavor, though, that you have on hand will probably do the trick just fine.
We're letting the turkey smoke on the smoker at 250 degrees Fahrenheit until it reaches 165 degrees internal temperature. Now, because this Pit Boss 850 smoker has that automatic meat probe sensor there, it'll automatically shut off the smoker once it reaches that perfect internal temperature. Otherwise, you'd want to come out here and test it every once in a while to see where it is in the cooking process. This should take about 2 hours. Sometimes it can go a little quicker, especially since the bird is spatchcocked and laying flat there on the grill grates. So let's let this smoke away and we'll check back here in a second once it's all done. This turkey used up about half of the seasoning that we made. We don't want to pitch this. Since I divided it into a smaller bowl, none of this got turkey juices on it. So we're gonna put it in another container to save for another day. Definitely don't throw away the extra rub. That's one of the reasons I like to either separate it into a separate bowl or have one dirty hand, one clean hand as I'm sprinkling the rub on. This will easily do another turkey. And it would also taste really good on chicken or any other type of meat you want to cook up. There we go. There's our leftover seasoning. It's time to pull the turkey off the smoker.
This turkey smells so good. I've come out here and checked the temperature a few times myself just to double check, and every time I open that lid, even before I walk onto the porch, I could smell it. It really has a wonderful aroma to it. I can't wait to get into it and see what it tastes like. Let's go ahead and bring it into the kitchen and we'll let it rest for a few minutes.
Total cook time on the turkey was about 3 hours. We did crank up the temperature to 350 there at the very end for the last 30-45 minutes or so to give that skin a little bit of a crispy texture. It's really tempting to cut into this turkey right now, but we're gonna let it rest for 20-30 minutes and then we'll carve it up. This smells so good though.
I don't think I can fully accurately describe how wonderful this turkey smells. There is just something about the warm spice of the paprika and the cinnamon mixed with the apple and orange. It smells like the perfect autumn pack punch of flavors, and I'm just ready to eat it.
We've been waiting very patiently for the last 20 minutes while this turkey has been resting and letting all those juices reabsorb back into the meat. Because if you cut your turkey too early before letting it have a chance to rest, all the juices will just run right out. This smells really good. I'm pretty excited. Let's give it a taste test. All right. Let me set it down here and we'll cut it open. All right, we've got the turkey here. Let's carve into it. Now, don't judge me for my carving skills. I can cook it up, but I'm not the best carver. But I don't think that's even gonna be an issue because it's so tender, it just comes right off. I don't even need a sharp knife. That leg just came off so easily, I barely had to pull it. I want to cut right into this breast meat because I really want to take a taste. All right, I just cut a little chunk of the breast meat off because I really want to give it a taste. That looks really beautiful. Got a nice smoke ring there on it. Let me slide the rest of this turkey over so we can take a little slice of this. I've got some hungry children here watching me, and I think they probably want to taste too, so I'm gonna make this quick so we can sit down and eat dinner. That's good. Okay, here we go. First taste. I outdid myself on this one, I'm not gonna lie. That crispy skin with the brown sugar is so good. This is the perfect blend of sweet with a little tiny kick of heat. I had a long time ago, this is what it's reminding me of. A long time ago, I had candied bacon. It was bacon that had been like coated in brown sugar and baked and smoked, and it was just the perfect like applewood smoky bacon flavor. That's what this reminds me of. The brown sugar with that little bit of paprika that we added, mixed with the pear cider that we brined the turkey in, and the cinnamon. I don't know how else to describe it except that it's like a fall candied meat explosion in your mouth. I think this is going to become the new Thanksgiving turkey tradition staple in our household because this is really good. I'm definitely a foodie. I won't steer you wrong. This is good stuff. All right. Well, the rest of the kids and the husband are standing here staring me down, wanting some of this turkey. So I better go feed the family and not sit here and eat it all for myself. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving too. Bye, y'all.
Here, you gotta try some of this.
Man, that is so good.